Hey guys, Titi here. So, I've actually stopped playing Diablo 4 for a couple of days now, and one of the reasons are uh, Remnant has released or has been released. So, for guys that don't know what Remnant is it's actually a Dark Souls or a Souls-like game, which focuses more on guns or ranged battle. However, there is some melee battle, but the focus or most of the items are focused on ranged combat. So, I think Remnant is not a AAA game. I think I'm not sure if they're an indie developer, but they're not well known basically. And this is the second iteration or second franchise of the game, and the first one was a huge success in my opinion. However, it is not well recognized. It is not. It's underrated to say the least. And before I will actually discuss the pros and cons of Remnant 2. And before we go into that, I'll just let you know that this video will contain maybe spoilers for most, because this video like has boss battles and whatnot. So let's go ahead. The first point, I actually have my pointers here. For the pros, it's actually a huge improvement from the first franchise. They actually improved, while the gameplay still remains, or the battle style or something still remains the same. It's more focused on guns. There are a lot of quality of life improvements from Remnant 1, and we will be discussing the diversity as well later on, and how they addressed the replayability of the game. Because to be honest, Remnant 1 is already has actually a lot of replayability already, and I think the price tag is not that steep, so you actually are getting your money's worth when you play the game. But now they actually multiplied the replayability because of what they did in Remnant 2. So let's get into why Remnant 2 is more replayable than Remnant 1. Okay. All right, I have my character here, which is I'm still actually around 20 hours. Yeah, around 20 hours or so, more or less. So let's start the game. Oh, hold on. Actually muted the game. Hey. So while we load into the game, there are actually a lot of cons as well. Even though I really like the game, I will just point out my nitpicks regarding the game. So okay, so this is the game. It's actually really good. This area or the hub is actually this. I think it's the same as the first iteration of the game. And yeah, so my second point, aside from my first point, was it's a huge improvement from Remnant 1, and my second point would be there is actually a subclass and a class. So if you follow the story, they will introduce you that you can actually pick a class, your primary class, and later down the line you can pick your subclass. So this alone will give you exponential content on on which builds or which classes would you pair with which class, right? But right now I only have two classes, so I cannot mix and match classes. So that's one, and all of the classes have, or each class has actually three skills. So you can only pick one skill for each class on or what skill would you use. However, this will diversify the builds because each skill is actually needed for a certain type of build. Like for example, my first class or primary archetype is a hunter, and the first and second skill I can actually use with ranged weapons. However, the third skill or the last skill, Hunter's Shroud, is gearing towards like a melee type of build. So you can actually mix and match other classes as well. So that's one. And second is the perks. These perks you can actually use whether if or this will activate whether it's a prime archetype or a secondary archetype. So all of these eight perks will be activated, and the class trait will be activated as well. So the only thing that won't be activated on your secondary archetype is the prime perk, which is on my screen right now. It's Dead to Rights, which is the prime perk for the hunter archetype. So the prime archetype is the only one that can activate its prime perk. So yeah, this can diversify your builds, and it will give you a lot to do, or a lot of content that can be done in the game, because you have to farm the hidden classes and whatnot. Yeah, there are hidden classes. So yeah, that's one. That's the second point. Third one is, if you have played Remnant 1, they're only dragon hearts. So if you're familiar with Dark Souls, this is your potions. You drink this potion to earn your HP back. However, on Remnant 2, there are actually different kinds of hearts. Like there's a crystal heart, which has a different effect. Ruined heart, different effect. And inside these hearts, you can actually engraved or you can actually engrave certain I think runes or something, relics or something. I'm not sure. Glyphs. So you can engrave a number of glyphs. There's actually a ton of combinations that you can actually do for your build to be more efficient or more sustainable, right? So there's a lot of going on, and the difference of Remnant 2 from Remnant 1 is that if you played Remnant 1, there are actually set bonuses for the armors. However, in Remnant 2, they're not available. So what happened to the set bonuses? They are actually transferred or changed into mutators. These mutators, some of them can be purchased from shops, but some of them can only be dropped by bosses. So these are our set bonuses from before. And on this game, you cannot upgrade your armors. You can only change them, and you can only upgrade your weapons. Also, you can equip 4 rings on this game. I'm not sure if you can equip 4 rings on Remnant 1. I actually forgot. But in this game, you can equip 4 rings. So it actually diversifies your build more. And next is the traits. They're the same. And also the inventory is the same. So that remains untouched. So next is the replayability. So replayability is, even if you have finished the game, you can still you still have areas left to discover, bosses left to battle and whatnot. So how Remnant works is that each playthrough, for example, this is your first playthrough. As you can see here, there are 4 maps that I have already unlocked. However, Labyrinth is kind kind of like a hub. It's not map or a region. So let's just take these three for example: Yesha, Enerud, and Lossum. So once you enter the game, I actually started on Yesha. However, it's different for every other player. So if you start the game, you might go to Enerud or Blossom or the fourth one that I haven't discovered yet. And when you enter that particular region or that universe, you'll actually be the biomes here or the regions here are randomized. So I actually started on. I actually forgot. I think I started on Forbidden Grove. So it might be another starting point for another player, and the starting point will generate like random gates to other nodes on this region. So all of it is randomized, and I think the chances of you and your friend getting the same areas are really slim. So it's actually tailored fit to your or you're having a unique experience every time. So it's purely randomized, and the bosses and the events of that particular node as well is randomized. So yeah, so that's for replayability. And item diversity, I've already discussed it earlier that there are a lot of, if you see here, there are a lot of rings already. I'm actually just 20 hours into the game, and I haven't finished the campaign yet. So I have these lot of rings, and there are actually a lot of weapons, modifiers, and sets that I have yet to discover. So yeah, that's one. It's so huge. It's so diverse. So the itemization is actually huge. The library of items is actually huge. So there are a lot of builds or items that you can slot in. And these are just personal preferences from here. One of my pros are the monster design. I actually love the monster design on Remnant 2 more than Remnant 1. So it's I kind of like because on Remnant 1 it's gearing more towards like, if you're familiar with The Last of Us, I think it's kind of similar, like the root virus or the cordyceps virus or something. So it's kind of similar. So that's one of my takes for Remnant 1, that I judge that Remnant 2 is more better designed than Remnant 1. And also the world design on Remnant 2, even if Yesha and the labyrinth is actually a returning world, and also this hub right here, these are returning areas from Remnant 1. However, I think the ambience and the environment, they actually changed the environment you're in, even if it's the same map. So they changed the feel of the environment, and I think they widened the map a bit, because on Remnant 1 it's actually pretty linear. When you go to when you join a biome, or when you join a node or a map, it's just from point A to point B. But on this game it's more of a semi open world, if you can imagine. It's not like Elden Ring that has a huge or wide map. It's like it's like segmented. The map is segmented. However, each segment is huge. It's not like one line. So that's one of my my pros. And yeah, the theme, the overall theme of the game is better than Remnant 1. So that's all for the pros. And for the cons, First is the story. It's the same as Remnant 1, that the story is kind of lackluster. Um, Even though I kind of find the story interesting, like the plot, but the delivery of the story is not that great. So even though I feel like the story is interesting, I actually don't like discovering the lore in the game. So I have to watch YouTube or scour the internet for me to get the story. Uh, yeah. And next is the map. So if you see the map here, um, at first I was actually confused how to interact with the map. However, as I play the game, I kind of get it. Um, I just This is just a nitpick, but I kind of like to see a pin, like you can pin somewhere on the map, because the maps on the areas, I just don't want to go to the areas because you might get spoiled. Um, but the pin or the areas are pretty wide, they're huge, and sometimes or more often than not, you will get lost in those areas, and it's helpful if you can pin a certain location so that you will have a goal to go to. But I think that it's intentional so that you will spend time exploring the map. I'm not quite sure. So that's just a nitpick. And also, um, I'm not sure if this is just me, but I actually play solo every time I play games, and I just noticed that in Remnant One, it's already noticeable that the bosses and elites are gearing towards co-op play or multiplayer than solo play. However, it's really apparent on Remnant 2 because there are a lot of boss mechanics that requires another player or another entity to distract the boss and you shooting the boss or something, and or if you're down, or a lot of mechanics that requires or is more, it's more easy if you have a partner. They actually address that by giving us the handler class, which has a pet dog that can assist you during your battles. However, the dog doesn't scale well on endgame, so the dog will actually feint one or two attacks or three attacks. However, there are a lot of one-shot boss mechanics, and some, if not most of them, are really hard to dodge. Like the room for error is really slim, so sometimes you will feel that it's really BS or it's really hard to play solo. However, from all of the content that I have done, I actually played solo, and the bosses that I have seen being judged in the internet or Reddit, that is really hard, I actually clear them pretty easy. Like there's one boss or one world boss that other people are saying that she's hard, but I kind of find it pretty easy. The game is actually easy. There are just a lot of gimmicks that I find kind of BS. But once you get over with that gimmick, or once you know how to avoid that gimmick, it's pretty easy from there. And I play on veteran mode, so it's not the easiest difficulty. However, it's not that hard either. So this is the boss that that was mentioned earlier, that some people find it hard, but yeah, I think that would be all. Let me just review my notes. So yeah, final thoughts about Remnant. Remnant 2 is, if you haven't played Remnant 1 yet, I think it's better. They are not actually that connected. That if you miss the first iteration of the game, you will miss a lot of story coming in Remnant 2. I think you can still play Remnant 2 like alone, or even if you haven't played Remnant 1, you can still understand the story and whatnot. However, I think it's better if you play Remnant 1, so that you will be familiar with the mechanics and the overall world building actually. And also, yeah, this is really fun. If I could just say or comment something, it's more fun than Diablo 4. If you're playing Diablo 4, this is more fun, and the itemization here is more diverse than Diablo 4. That's just my final thoughts. And the price point for this game, the ultimate, I actually bought the ultimate edition, and it's cheaper than most AAA games today. So the ultimate edition, I think, comes with like free what you call this, free sets, free items, and free DLC. The future DLC, you will already get the future DLC, all of the future DLC. So yeah, I think that would be all. If you haven't tried Remnant, please do try the first and second Remnant. Remnant 2 being this Remnant that I'm showing in the video right now, and Remnant 1 being the one released on 2020, I think, or 2021. They're actually good games, underrated games, and it's a must buy if you're into Souls games. So I think that would be all. I'm still thinking if I will stream this game. I've been pretty busy lately, and I haven't streamed for quite a while now. So if you're in this video, so please do subscribe to my Twitch. Maybe I'm streaming, and please do like and share the video, or like and comment down below. Thank you so much, guys. This is TD again. Jane.